All right. What's good, homies? What's good? Yeah, give me a quick minute, man. I'm trying to fix something here, man. I got too much. I'm running out of space on my laptop right quick, man. Let me take care of this right quick. Y'all come on in, man. Come on in. Come on in. I gotta move some files over to my I gotta move some files over to my hard drive, man. Hold up, hold up. Y'all bear with me for a minute. All right, here we go. I gotta move some things over to my hard drive, man. Give me a quick second here. Mm, Let me see something right quick. Y'all bear with me. Bear with me. Appreciate y'all being in the joint, man. Y'all bear with me though. I got too much stuff going on over here, man. That's one. Give me a second. I'm trying to see what I can slide out of here. All right, that ought to do it. I just need to move a couple right quick, man, to clear up some space. That's all. All right, brothers, what's good? What's good, man? I appreciate y'all being in the joint. Hey, man, look, I know, man, I've been MIA for a minute, man, but man, I had to take some time off, brothers. Y'all know how it is, man. I had to take a little time off. Had to take a little time off, man. But we back. We back. Somebody say, how do you book a session? Famo, salute, salute. Hey, Famo, do me a favor, man. Tedrick Burns just asked for the consultation link, brother. If you would put that in for me, man, I sure would appreciate it, bro. Got a new audio book coming, man, tomorrow for y'all, man. It's called Missing in Action: The Disappearance of the Traditional Feminine Woman. And we'll break it down, man. We're gonna take a deep dive on that. It's gonna be very informative, man. So y'all be looking for that. Sounds. Sounds from the Vanguard. Appreciate it. Appreciate the two bones. All right, let's get ready to do this, man. So by now, you all have heard of the Malcolm Jamal Warner, and in case you want to know, today's show is coming to you on the Nikon Z8 with the 24 to 120 f4 lens. We're shooting at about 52-ish millimeters. Um, Full frame. We got auto ISO. We got auto white balance. We're shooting full auto, and just seeing how it's gonna work. Seeing how it's gonna work. So far, the image quality, we're shooting in the standard profile, no extra stuff. I honestly hadn't ever worked the camera before, so I had to figure it out before I could even set it up. But here we are, man. Nikon Z8. Thanks to my good friend Bill. He's letting me test it out to see if I'm going to be able to get it. The thing is, it doesn't have flip screen on it, so I can't see myself as I'm filming. So I'm using this time to see if the autofocus is just that good where I don't need it, because for my bird photography, it's phenomenal. All right, so let's get into it, man. Listen, brothers, this isn't going to be, a let's cry and hold hands show. So if that's what you're looking for, I'm going to go ahead and ask you to leave, because you're probably going to find some offense. Now, we're not going to talk bad about anybody, but we're going to question some of the things that we do that indicate we have no idea about taking our lives for granted. We're going to talk about some things. We're going to talk about challenging the laws of God. We're going to talk about a bunch of things. We're going to talk about how to make sure that you are not taking your life for granted, that you are not doing things that you are now too wise to be doing. All right? So Let's get into it, man. First off, when we talk about the laws of God, we're not just talking about the laws in the book. We're talking about the laws, all the laws of the laws of God. Who you think made the law of gravity? You think man made gravity? No. The law of gravity is just, man just said, okay, I'm going to give this a label. Man has never discovered anything. All man do is give things label. Find things that God already made and give labels to them. Then say, yes, I created the law of gravity. Man, come on, man. The law of gravity? The law of gravity, all you got to do is throw a rock in the air. What goes up must come down. You can only fly a plane for so long. A bird can only fly for so long. What comes up must come down. Come on, let's be honest. The law of oxygen, which is why we wear oxygen tanks when we go into the ocean, but fish don't. Which is why fish can't extract oxygen from the air. They have to be in the water. The law of nature, all the laws of nature. We know the laws of nature. Men are men, women are women, dogs are dogs, cats are cats. That's just the way it is. So we're going to cover some things from a spiritual perspective that we don't normally think of from a spiritual perspective because we're too busy thinking of everything from a scientific perspective. And I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not absolutely totally convinced that that's the way we should be viewing things from a scientific perspective. But let's get into it. Life is not promised. Tomorrow is not promised. Somebody who's alive today, this is their last tomorrow. That day of that accident, Malcolm Jamal Warner had no idea that would be his last tomorrow. He had no idea. And so many of us do that same thing. We take our lives for granted. We act as if we have forever. We act as if we're not running out of time every day. We act as if we know how much time we have. We activists, we can dictate what's going to happen to us today and tomorrow. We act like we know, but the reality is we don't. Hold up. That's me. That's my bad. That's my bad. We don't know. We have no idea. And the truth of the matter is,
Warner, the Cosby Show star, drowning in secluded paradise on Sunday.
What makes that beach so treacherous?
You know, it's similar to other beaches where there are strong rip currents that are deceiving.
Mike Geist helps run a volunteer lifeguard organization here. He says while no lifeguards were on duty that day, Geist's friend, who happens to be a trained lifeguard, was there to surf and discovered Warner unresponsive in the water.
You know, the first thing that they do is they bring him to the surface and give the emergency respirations.
Right there
In the water on the surfboard. And when he didn't respond to that, my friend rapidly took him into the beach and they immediately began CPR.
These are the first things we saw when we pulled up to the beach. Signs in Spanish and English warning people. Things we saw when we pulled up to the beach. Signs in Spanish and English warning people about potential.
Into the beach and they immediately began CPR.
Yeah,
These are the first things we saw when we pulled up to the beach. Signs in Spanish and English warning people about potentially hazardous conditions. This sign even giving a roadmap for how to escape a rip current.
Costa Rica's Red Cross says they were able to rescue another man alive who was taken to a clinic in critical condition. Meanwhile, tonight, the outpouring continuing to grow.
Blue suede shoes, hit it.
One for the money, two for the show.
Raven Simone, who played Warner's niece on The Cosby Show, posting this emotional tribute.
He was the big brother. He was one of the most multifaceted, talented men. So gentle.
In a 2013 interview, Warner said his proudest achievement wasn't the hit sitcom, but building a life beyond The Cosby Show.
If I die tomorrow, I
I know I would go with a smile on my face.
And with that, Jesse joins us now live from Costa Rica. Jesse, officials say Warner's autopsy is now complete.
It was completed this morning, according to authorities, Tom, and they say that it confirmed that Warner's drowning death was, in fact, an accident. Tom?
Jesse Kirsch for us tonight. Jesse, thank you.
Now, here's the thing, brothers, and here's what I want y'all to understand. The reality is this. When you look at how choppy that water was, bro, you have no business going into that water. We're not fish. You've heard of a swimming pool. You've never heard of a swimming ocean. You never heard of a swimming lake. You never heard of a swimming pond. You never heard of a swimming river. You never heard of a swimming waterfall. You never heard of any of those things. You heard of a swimming pool. We're humans. We're not meant to swim in the ocean. I know a guy, man, recently down on the Gulf Coast of Alabama, man. He went out there, man. His two daughters, man, went out there, man, and they got caught in a rip current, man. No, it wasn't in Alabama. I think it was in Texas. He went out there, man, and his two stepdaughters, man, they were out there, got caught in a rip current. He went out there, and none of them made it out. He went out there and tried to save them in a rip current, man. None of them made it out. Like, we're not equipped to swim in the ocean. Like, that's just not us. We don't do that. We're humans. So I want y'all to think about it. You have to limit when you become responsible for people, you have to limit your dumb and dangerous activities. Like certain things you just don't do. Yes, you could, man, listen, man, that was a time, man, where there's nothing I wouldn't have done. When I was much younger, there's nothing I wouldn't have done. I'm talking about skydiving, bungee jumping. There was no such thing as a roller coaster that was too high or too fast or too dangerous or too anything. You name it, I would do it. Because I was only responsible for myself. Okay, now that I've become responsible for others, many others, there's a lot of places that require me to put food on them. I can't risk things like that. Now, calculated risks are necessary. Blind risks are not. It's not a calculated risk to go skydiving. It's dumb. It's not a calculated risk to go bungee jumping. It's dumb. Now, if you're in a culture where that's required, if you're a boy and you live in one of those cultures where it's required for you to go into manhood to bungee jump or wrestle a lion or something like that, that's totally different. But you were trained to do that from the time you were a little boy. Generationally, men have figured out the particular nuances of wrestling a lion. And there are cultures where you have to do that to enter manhood. You have to subdue a lion with your bare hands. But we don't live in those cultures. We don't live in those primitive cultures. We live here where when we do these things, it's a choice to go out and jump out of a plane, hoping that this man-made parachute opens for you. Hoping now. Not trusting God. You can't challenge God's laws and then try to say, I'm going to rely on God to save me from them. It's the law of gravity. How you going to challenge the law of gravity? Bro, I just started flying 3 years ago. Because, you know what? I won't even say because I had to, but because in order for me to make a movie shoot, in order for me to make the shoot, I was going to have to fly. There was a snowstorm that was going to keep me from driving. Because if not for that snowstorm, man, I was going to drive 21 hours over 3 days. I was going to drive 7 hours a day for 3 days. There, and then drive 7 hours a day for 3 days and make it back. It was a 21-hour drive. My mind was made up I was going to do it. It was made up. You know, I had already planned the trip, plotted the trip. I ended up having to cancel the reservations at my accommodations. I'm telling you, brothers, we can't go out here and live a life. When you look at the people that live the longest in this world, you go to those societies, man, those people live simple lives. Those people don't take uncalculated risk. They don't take blind risk and do things, bro. You can't do it. And now I'm not saying that. Believe me when I say, I'm not saying that the brother deserved not to be here or any of that. I'm not saying that. But I know some sucker going to come in here and try to make it seem like that's what I'm saying. No, what I'm saying is we don't know what would have happened But we know if you don't go into those situations, these accidents don't happen. When we hear about accidents happening, you know what I mean? When we hear about accidents happening, how does an accident happen? That means something that wasn't supposed to happen, something that doesn't normally happen, took place. Now, it's not always you doing something. Sometimes you could be somewhere and someone else does something and it causes an accident for you. But as men, we have to remember our responsibilities and duties that can only be handled by us. They can only be handled by us. When we think about health as wealth, we just think about eating right and working out and avoiding stress and doing all that. No, man, health is wealth. There is nothing that anybody can say is healthy about going into the ocean taking a swim. There's nothing. There's swimming pools everywhere. Swimming pools everywhere. Swimming pools, hot tub, man, you can go anywhere. Even if you ain't got no money, you can go to your local YMCA and get on a pool. We have to understand that health is also decision making. I remember a long time ago, man, a kid, in the South, you swim in the river. But a bunch of people drown in the river too in the South because the rivers aren't meant for swimming. Somebody's going to go out too deep. You know what I mean? Somebody's going to go out too deep. About once every 2 years, you go to them river towns down in the country, man. About once every 2 years, there's a couple people, man, that end up going out too deep in the river. You know what I mean? You look at these, you look at all the things that happen over at Lake Lanier in Georgia. Go look at all the things that happen in Lake Lanier. Somebody's always kicking the bucket in there. Usher stepson, bam. You think about it, brothers. I'm telling you, God put us here to live a certain way. We don't have to rely on the water. So we ain't got to be out there, in a little bit of canoe fishing and doing all of that. We don't live in that culture. And I just want y'all to understand that calculated risks are necessary, blind risks are not. You don't have to take blind risk. You don't have to risk your life. You don't have to do things that are going to put you in a situation where it all of a sudden it's out of your control. Man, and those rip currents, bro, they are dangerous. And when you think about when you get caught in one, it's such a surprise because obviously if you're out there, you don't even think about the dangers of it. You know how dangerous it is to be swimming in an ocean, bruh? Do you know sharks come into the shallows to feed at dusk and dawn? We don't even know all of the things that are in the ocean. But when a rip current gets you, bro, it pushes you deeper out. And the natural inclination is to swim against the current. You're trying to get back shallow. You panic. You see the land moving further and further away. So you're trying to get back to land when what you should do is just drift sideways, swim sideways to beat the current. The rip current don't go down the whole coast, but you got to save that strength that you're using and swim until you get out of the rip current. You're going to get out of it. They're never the length of the coast. You're going to get out of it. And as you get out of it, whatever strength you have left can be used to try to get as close as you can to the shore. But you don't think about that when you're in a situation that you shouldn't be in. You got to remember this, man. Life is long, but the time we get to enjoy it is short. When you're growing up young, you got to learn all these lessons. You got to learn life. You got to learn school. You spending all your time learning. You can't wait till summertime come because that's the only time you get out from learning. Unless your dad got a business and you go to work with him, or your people ain't got no money. You got to go to work for yourself when you're young. You got to go to work to help the family. Then you get out of school and then you got to figure out what you're going to do with your life. And then you spend now you can spend some years enjoying life, but it's going to come back to bite you at the end. So we're taught to go out into the world and make a way and figure it out and build for our lives. By the time you get a chance to sit down, bro, life is over pretty much. Life is done. By the time you get a chance to sit down, man, you sit down at the end of life. You know what I mean? Or halfway through life. Halfway through your life expectancy, you're sitting down. So I get doing things that are exciting. But just because something is exciting doesn't mean it's enjoying life. Man, you go out to the clubs and bars on weekend, people drink until they can't drink anymore. And then they do it again the next weekend. And they claim it's having fun. They claim they're enjoying life. How are you enjoying life? Destroying yourself. How are you enjoying life? Destroying yourself. It's really the only question I have. If you're enjoying life, how is it that you convince yourself you're enjoying life by destroying yourself? Just make it make sense to me. I just want you to make it make sense to me. How are you enjoying life while destroying yourself at the same time? And then you go through life, you're dealing with haters. You're dealing with people that always got something to say. And man, life is you gotta work hard to make life peaceful. You gotta work hard to make life peaceful. Funny, clout chaser, what else? What you have considered talking about. Bro, if you can't speak proper English, don't try to be a smart aleck. You know what I'm saying? Don't try to say nothing slick if your English is broken like this. Like you can't even make a proper insult. You know what I mean? Come on, man. Come on, ask somebody to help you out next time you try this. Ask somebody, 'cause I don't even know what this is. Like I wish I could read the insult and get it. I wanna see what you were trying to do here, but I can't because it makes no sense. Let's try it again. Funny, clout chaser. What else? What you have considered talking about? I don't know, man. Well, whatever you mean by that. So I want y'all to understand, man, we have to. I know it's fun, bro. I know the excitement of the human experience, but we got to remember you have to respect and honor and accept the limits of human physiology. You have to accept that. You have to accept that we're humans. Certain things we're not built for. That's why so many professional athletes, they make money, but their bodies are destroyed when they're done playing. Absolutely. Man, all they can do is walk. That's why they all just get on TV and sit down and talk. Ain't much left that they can do. Ain't much left that they can do. You have the few who still work out and still do all of that, but those who work out, they're working out for health. They're still in bad physical shape. All of the surgeries and all of these different things, man, we're not meant to do high impact things. We're humans. We're meant to hunt, gather, love, procreate, build, and create art. That's what we're not meant to do. We're not meant to play football. We're not meant to spend 10, 15, 20 years jumping as high as we can, bumping into people, coming down all crazy. We're not monkeys, bro. We're not meant to jump and hang and swing like that. But the search for money, the search for fun, the search for joy, the search for everything except spiritual astuteness keeps us hunting all of these things all of the time. But life is short. Life is short, man. You have no idea which day is going to be your last. You have no idea which day is going to be your last. And the reality is, you don't have the time to play these games. You understand? Pools are for swimming. Oceans require boats. But ships are even better. Bro, I've never swam in a lake. Now, have I been in a lake and fell out of my boat into the lake? Yes, I have. I was at the Ross Barnett Reservoir in Jackson, Mississippi, man, fishing under the Pelahatchie Bay Bridge. And there was a current, but the fish were under the bridge. And man, I was trying to tie off to the bridge. I had a partner in the boat with me, man. I'm trying to tie off to the bridge, and that current pushing me, man. And man, listen, I just started teetering like this. I just had to make a choice. I couldn't go backward. I was either gonna fall in or jump in. So I just jumped on in. At least if you jump in, you can control it. I jumped in, bro, but we was under a bridge. It was all kind of trees under there, man. I could have fell down there, man. And what if one of those trees standing up, man? What if a stump just would have impaled me? Or what if a stump would have stuck through my rib cage or something like that, bro? I don't know what was down there. But I can swim, so I swam back up to the top. I'm blessed because I didn't have on my fishing boots that day because I was on the boat. I use my fishing boots when I'm on the bank. I'm on the boat. I just have on some gym shoes. But if I had my fishing boots, man, they'd fill the water so quick. I don't know what would have happened. I don't know if they would have got stuck on my feet or if I could have pulled them off or they would have sunk me to the bottom. I have no idea. But even that situation, that wasn't fun. That didn't make me say, man, that was fun. I'm going to try it again. No, I've never literally purposely swam in a lake. If I'm in a lake, I'm on a boat. You know what I mean? I've never even gone, man, I don't think I've ever even gone close enough to the river. Bruh, I've never been in the river. Like bruh, I don't even wade. I don't even wade fish. You know, you put on the waders and you walk through the shallow water and fish. Man, I don't even fish like that. It doesn't make sense. And we just have to understand, man, birds have wings. Humans don't. Humans don't have wings. Now, you can say, man, well, planes, but at least planes are designed after birds in flight. When you see a plane, it looks like a big bird in flight. If you see an eagle soaring from up above, it looks just like a plane flying over. Just like a plane. Even a vulture. You see a vulture gliding, look just like. You see a hawk glide, look just like a plane. Just like one. Peregrine falcon, you see it, looks just like a plane. But me jumping out of a plane? Come on, man. How much sense does that make? How much sense does it make for me, being of sound mind and body, to look to be up, what they jump from about 20,000? I'm up 20,000 feet. And I look down and say, you know what? The ground is way down there, but I'm going to jump. I know about your law of gravity, God. I tell God, I know about your law of gravity, but I'm going to challenge it this time. And I pray that you'll forgive me for challenging and let the parachute open. Come on, man. What we doing that for? It doesn't make sense, brothers. And I want y'all to understand, man, that we have to take our life, man. You stop taking your life for granted, man. Stop thinking that you can risk it. Stop thinking that you can afford to take these chances with your survival. When it comes to physicality, humans are the weakest physical species on the planet, dog. We're the weakest physical species. We're weaker than a cockroach. You know what I'm saying? The way we're made up now, you can say, well, I can step on a cockroach. Yes, just physically, just because of your physical size. But if a cockroach was the size of a Rottweiler, you'd be afraid of it. You know what? Because we'd be food. If ants were the size of rats, we'd live somewhere where they couldn't climb. Why? Because we'd be food. If spiders were the size of elephants, wouldn't have to worry about insects get stuck in their web. Guess who begins stuck in their web? Getting injected with that venom. Make your inside turn into soup so they can drain you. Guess who would be? Yep, you guessed it. Me and you. There's nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do, bruh. Nothing. Like physically, we have to use our spirit, man, to navigate this world, because physically, it is nothing for us to be put in a situation that cost us our lives. That we have no physical power, physical strength. We don't compete with other animals in any way. We only compete with each other. You look at lions, cheetahs, leopards, hyenas. They compete for the same food sources. In some kind of way, they compete for the same food sources. So you have to develop a skill. So you look at the cheetah's small, but it's faster than the other cats. There's a certain animal that the other cats can't catch that the cheetah can. Prime source of food. Lions prefer buffaloes over everything else. Well, a pride of lions, a couple of male lions can take down a full-grown buffalo, a couple of full-grown adult male lions, but a lion pride can take down a buffalo. Leopards, they're solo hunters. Cheetah, solo hunters. She might have some cubs with her. So buffalo, they're left to the lions all by themselves. Nobody else trying them. Hyena don't attack buffaloes. So when you think about it, we don't have to compete with one another like that, because all we got to do is go to the grocery store and make sure there's enough stuff in there for us to buy. All we have to do is study. You go to school, you study, you make good grades. Like, we don't have to compete. We're only competing against a system. So physically, we couldn't make it in any of these environments. Man, sometimes I meet people, man, from other cultures, bro, and they be like, man, they tell me how many things we take for granted over here, bro. Just how many things we take for granted. The fact that I can just go to the grocery store and buy some black beans, and they got to plant and harvest everything they eat. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even sure, man, that I could run a farm. If I had, man, listen, when I have a farm, bro, I gotta have a farm girl to run it. Gotta have my good old country farm girl. I don't know how to run no farm, dog. I'm not even sure I want to. I'm too spoiled with my Americanized existence. You know what I'm saying? That's why I can jump out of a plane. That's why I can go swim in the ocean. That's why I can do all of that, because we don't value our spiritual connections over everything else. That's why it's so easy for families to break up, because we don't value our spiritual connections. Do you understand? Man, I got a partner right now, man. Uh, got a kid, man. And him and the kid mom, man, they kind of been together but not together. You know what I mean? If that makes sense to you. And he was talking to me, man. He said, man, you know what, man? As a man, my first responsibility is as a father. And I'm not taking care of that responsibility, because regardless of what I want to say or what I want to do, that little girl over there, man, she need me to guide her every day. So I said, what you gonna do, man? He said, I don't know. About a month later, I saw him. I saw all of them together. I saw him, his daughter, and her mom. I said, what's up, bro? He pulled me to the side, man. He said, bro. I said, man, well, what's going on, bro? Y'all just hanging out? He said, nah, man. That little girl right there, man, she deserved to have both her parents in the house, man. You know, at least until she gets to an age where she starts seeking her independence. And I said, man, you know what? Much respect for that. As a man, it don't matter how you feel about the woman. It don't matter if you're not even attracted to the woman anymore. At a certain point, it's not about you and your lust and you and your attachment to a woman. It ain't about that. It's about, there's a child that you created in the world, and we know that children fare better. Young children, especially when they're young and and they're dependent. When they're young and they're dependent, they function better in a household with two active parents who understand the responsibility and who have enough respect for one another that they don't do no foolishness or cat fighting or a dog fight or do any of those things in front of that child, man. That child deserves to grow up in a loving environment like that. Now, if you're not mature enough to understand that, you're talking about, man, I ain't gonna never do that. But I wouldn't do it, man. The child gonna be, man, then you just young and dumb. Because we're not even just talking about statistics. Every single statistic, every single experience that we have all witnessed in our lives, if there is a healthy household with two parents, children just fare better. They understand life better. They're more responsible. They're more dedicated. They're more focused. They have a richer childhood experience. Let's just be honest about it. So statistics say that children from single dad households fare better than children in single mom households. That can be misleading. I do believe that discipline and guidance that a man can provide when he understands that's a part of the fatherhood responsibility, it bodes better for a child than not having that. But let's also be honest. When you're comparing 75% of one single parent led households to 25%, the numbers can be a bit skewed. Or even 85%, when 85% of single parent led households are single moms, and then you compare that to 15%. Come on, man, let's be honest. Those numbers can be a bit skewed. Let's just be honest about that. So even though that is necessary in a child's life, we're not going to go by those numbers. We're going by the numbers that we know. We're not talking about single parent homes. We're talking about home with both parents in. We know children fare better. And so I use that story as an example to say we have to own our responsibilities and not allow them to fall to the wayside because of our own actions or because of our own desires or because of our own lust, because of our own so-called needs. What you need to do is be responsible for your responsibilities. What you need to do is be dutiful to your duties. What you need to do is be active in your required activities and eliminate all of these things that may put you in a situation where you're no longer available to do the things that you have set yourself up to do, that you have decided to do, that you have sworn to do, that you have made people grow accustomed to you doing. And you just can't take these type of risks, bro. Because when you think about it, man, planes, listen, bro, I'm not big on flying, just to be honest with you. I'm not big on flying. It's always a nerve-wracking experience for me. It's never comfortable. Whenever I get on the plane, whenever that plane the worst part of flying for me is taking off. Because I know I have just made the decision to challenge the law of gravity. And the entire time I'm on that plane, I'm not comfortable. People say, man, you sleep on the plane? No. Nope. I plug my headphones in and I watch a movie. And if it's a long flight, like from ATL to LAX, I watch 2 movies. You know what I mean? Before the plane takes off, I already know 2 movies I'm going to watch. I got them lined up. I got them timed. These 2 movies are going to take me to where we got about 5 minutes before we land. It's never a comfortable experience for me because I know I'm not supposed to be up there. I know I'm not. So, and then in helicopters, bro, I'm never setting foot in a helicopter at all. Never set foot in a helicopter. When I think about Kobe Bryant and Kobe and Gigi, and I think about, man, if they were in a plane, they'd already made the elevation necessary to fly over that mountain. You know what I mean? If I'm going to go up, if I'm going to go in the air, you're going to put me in something that's going to take me high enough where I ain't going to hit nothing. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hit nothing but a cloud. And that's just how it's got to be. So that's not comfortable, man. And then skydiving is just dumb. It just don't make sense. And don't get me started on bungee jumping. I ain't going to even talk about that. But I want y'all to understand something, man. Challenging the laws of God is risky business. It's risky business. And every time you do, you're taking life for granted. So that's why, man, like every time I fly, let's say I gotta go shoot a movie. Man, I go, when I'm done, I fly back. And then the next couple time I travel, man, like if it's not like that 21, 24 hours, man, if it's not a long drive like that, I just drive everywhere, man. You know what I'm saying? And I'll be honest with you, a bunch of my OG partners, man, they don't fly. They don't fly at all, man. I'm talking about, and some of these guys are famous. They don't fly. You know what I'm saying? They drive everywhere. They ain't never going out the country because ain't no road. You know what I'm saying? They ain't worried about going out the country. But you also have groups of people who be out of the country all the time. Man, I got a partner, man, man, he gone so much, he don't even have time to tell nobody when he leaving, man. He just be going. Always somewhere. When I say always somewhere, man, dude probably travel, man, probably about 15, 20 times a year out of the country, bro. He go out of the country more time than I fly, period. You know what I mean? But I want y'all to understand, man, he ain't got no kids. You know what I'm saying? Man, when you have responsibilities, bro, you cannot put your people through something that happened because you made a decision to do something that's not normal. Or you made a decision to do something that challenges the laws. The law of life, the law of gravity, the law of humanity, the law of gravity, the law of nature, the law of oxygen, the law of, just the laws, man. You can't challenge them, bro, because life is too short. These laws are meant to help us navigate life, not to help us challenge life. Life is the challenge. You don't challenge life. You take on the challenge of life. And I just want y'all to understand, man, it's a terrible situation where a man goes out for a swim, man, and now his family has to deal with this. You know what I mean? Now he could have very well drowned in the pool. But I would like to think that if he's a good enough swimmer to go out in the ocean, that he's gonna be all right in the pool. It's rough, brothers. It's rough. Every year, somewhere, someone get caught in a rip current, man, and it's just not a thing to be doing, man. I think about it, man, and you think about putting off working out. Think about if somebody in here been putting off working out. Think about how long you've been putting off working out. Think about how long you've been putting off eating right. Think about all the weeks that passed. You'd be like, okay, this is going to be the week. Let me tell y'all something. Anytime you say, I'm going to start next week, you're not going to start. Because when you're ready to start, you start right now. And think about the people who say, I'm going to get it. First of the year, I'm going to get in shape. I'm going to be on new leaf. All those people be out the gym by Valentine's Day. Why? Because they realize that it's going to take half of the time that they've been off the wagon to get back where they want to be. So if you've been eating what you want to eat and doing what you want to do for 10 years, it's going to take you a good 2.5 years to get back right. If you do it the right way, now you could lose a lot of weight and still not look good. But man, it takes time. And what people don't understand is it takes time to recover from doing the wrong thing. But doing the right thing takes a split second. It's not about recovering from doing the wrong thing. It's about doing the right thing. And I'm going to be honest with you, brother, when you look at that video, look at all those signs. Man, they got signs posted about rip currents, about the dangers and all of that. Bro, if I see that sign, I'm not going in that water. If they tell you, hey, man, these waters are shark infested, you don't go in there. But if they tell you these waters are rip current infested, you go right on in. Come on, bro. And it's not about being a strong swimmer. If there's a chance that you're not going to be able to make it back in, I would say you probably shouldn't do that thing. But every day, we don't do the right thing. We put it off. There's a right thing to do, and then there's everything else. And we'll do everything else except the right thing. And yes, we want sympathy after we do the wrong thing. But I want y'all to understand something. Why do the wrong thing when the right thing is an option? The right thing is an option. It's all about the choices that we make, bro. I mean, it's the choices that we make, man. And so, you know, I like a story I told you earlier, man, about my partner, man, with the daughter, man. Man, listen, man, I already respected him, but that garnered so much more respect from me, dog. I thought he already had all my respect, but he got more respect because you know what he said? It's not about putting the woman or the child before you. That's not what God put us here for. God put us here. God come first, then you come second as a man. You never put anyone before you. But you being that man, putting you first means your responsibilities and duties come before your desires and wants and all of that. You got to take on the responsibility. And every time you haven't in your life, you owe yourself to start taking on the responsibilities now. If you're not being responsible for something, take on the responsibility of it now. You got to remember what things are. Think about the power of the things around you. We always think about our own power. We always want to be empowered. But think about this. Hydraulic pressure from water is used to make electricity. Something that's powerful enough to make electricity. I'm not talking about just to shock you a little bit. I'm talking about electricity to run a factory. You think about it. I want y'all, man, to be careful and stop taking life for granted. Like, understand that life is not meant to be taken for granted. You got to live every day like it's your last, but with a backup plan for tomorrow. That's what you got to do. You got to live every day like it's your last with a backup plan for tomorrow. Death is coming to you. There's no need to expedite it. There's no need to do risky things, put yourself in situations, put yourself in harm's way. You don't have to run fast to meet death. It's coming. It is coming your way. Believe me when I tell you, it's coming your way. So you ain't got to clean up your diet. You just slow rolling on to death. I say, why not try to prevent it? Why not slow it down? You're going one direction, you and death are going like this. Y'all are going to meet. Well, here's what you do. While death is coming this way, death, you can't stop death, but you can slow down your speed. So while death is coming here, you just doing this. See how death is on the screen already? So death is coming, it's got to meet you. But you slow down. Take care of yourself. Make proper decisions. Don't risk your life. Don't do things that you know are going to ruin your life. Don't be weak. Don't be soft. If you have spiritual astutness, use it. If you don't have it, get it. Do the right thing. Do what God will want you to do. But think deeper than just, well, thou shalt not kill. No, think deeper than that. Think about logic. Use your logic. When you risk your life, you're not just risking your life, you're risking your children's lives. You're risking your children's lives. You're risking generational wealth. You're risking generational health. You're risking a bunch of things, brothers. And I want y'all to understand that God didn't put us here to take those kind of risks. We're simple people. God made man upright, but he has sought out many inventions. And so all of these things that we do and all of these things that we see and all of these tools that we use and all of these electronic gadgets and gizmos, man, bro, we don't understand that we are getting further and further away from the human experience. We're starting to live an experience that's not even the human experience. Think about a time where you were taught about danger. Like you were taught about danger. Now, some people had to bump their head and find out the hard way, but we were taught about the danger of everything. So back in the day, a 50-something-year-old man wouldn't do certain things. A 54-year-old man has no business swimming in the ocean without some scuba gear on. He just don't have no business doing it. It's like a 54-year-old man has no business still drinking on a daily basis. A 50-some-year-old man has no business drinking liquor on a daily basis. You have no business doing it. You just don't. A 50-some-year-old man has no business still out here making baby mamas. You don't have no business doing it. You don't. You don't have no business doing it. A 50-some-year-old man has no business out here driving under the influence. You don't have no business doing it. It don't make no sense. I'm going to tell you something else. A 50-something-year-old man has no business jumping on the highest roller coaster in the world trying to, man, you ain't got no business doing it. Ain't got no business doing it. You don't have any business doing it because one thing you have realized throughout life is everything that's man-made has the potential to fail at any moment. At any moment. And that's real. 50-something-year-old man ain't got no business, man, not getting a proper amount of sleep. Come on, man. $50-year-old man ain't got no business, man, jumping out of no plane, man, with a parachute on his back. If you're in the military and you 50, you ain't got to do that. Not at that age. You ain't jumping out no planes in your 50s as a military man. You done retired. Or about to retire anyway. Like Famo said, look at here, man. You grow up and survive the hood, then go skydiving or rock climbing. Yeah, man. You listen, you grow up in the hood and go scuba diving. You know what I mean? You navigate all them sharks to go scuba diving to get bit by a shark. It don't make sense, bro. And I'm telling you, man, you got to think about it like this. We don't have any business wonder what's in the sea anyway, man. God told us don't worry about what's in the heavens or the sea. You know what I mean? But we're always trying to do things that we have no business doing. Man, life is so simple. Man, listen. Here's how you navigate life. All you got to do is eat real food, get real sleep, only deal with real people, Understand who are your real friends. Love and connect with God in a real way. And drink real water. That's all you got to do, man. That's how you survive as an individual in this world. Read more than you watch TV. Or watch anything. Watch any device. TV, phone. Read more than you consume social media or entertainment. Now, I'm not saying don't read for entertainment. I'm about to get started on Alex Cross's Trial by James Patterson. That's going to be my next read. And then after that, I think I'm going to read Who is This King of Glory by Tony Evans. I got a couple of things in the works over here, man. I got a couple of them over here. But I just want you to understand, like, you have to take time, man, to prepare yourself to live a life that centenarians live. Like I like to keep up with where the centenarians live. You know, the places with, they call them blue zones. The places with the most people who live to be 100 years old, like in a productive way, not somebody. Well, you got to be productive. Yeah, you ain't gonna see too many people that live to be 100-year olds and they've been laid up since they were 80. You can't make it to 100. You've been laid up since 80. But I want y'all to understand, you have to keep in mind that you can live a long, strong, productive life, but you have to eliminate all these vices. All of these vices that, you know what my vice is, man? Coffee. That's my vice. This mushroom coffee is my vice. But mushroom coffee has so many benefits in it too, man. So it's got 7 different type of mushrooms in it, and there are benefits to it, but I can't say that's why I drink it. I drink it because I like it. Oh, listen, man. And to the people who say, I heard someone say, real men don't drink out of straws. Let me tell you something. If you drink coffee without a straw, it's going to make your tea brown like your face. I don't want my tea brown like my face. Okay? I don't want that. So I want y'all to understand this, man. And I want y'all to remember that we have to live in a way that's meaningful. And I don't mean like meaningful, societal meaningful. I mean, we have to live in a way that's meaningful so we can maintain our zest for life. And that way we don't end up seeking all of this validation and all of these things that don't mean anything because we can't find fulfillment in our own lives. We can't find fulfillment in our own lives, man. And so if I was going to tell you 5 things that I think you ought to do, got a couple super chats here, man. All right, we got Sounds. All right, Sounds again with another 2 bones. Blind risk leads to an inevitable struggle. It does, man. Blind risk leads to an inevitable struggle. Rain and One, man, appreciate you being here, baby girl. Appreciate it. Appreciate the dime. Your messages are sharpening for the mature. I'm grateful for your commitment. All praise to the Most High. Hey, all praises do the job, most definitely. I appreciate you again. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate you tuning in. Appreciate you showing up. All that good stuff. So here's what I want y'all to understand, man. If you're not connected with God, it's either because you don't want to be or because you don't deserve to be and he don't want to connect with you. And doing things that could possibly destroy this temple that you want God to dwell in doesn't make sense. You can't have a body full of pork and expect God to dwell, expect the Spirit of God to dwell in this temple. You can't have a body full of seafood, anything from the sea that doesn't have fins and scales, and think that God is going to dwell in this body. You can't be filled with a bunch of hatred and envy for your fellow man and think that God is going to dwell in this temple. The Spirit of God will not dwell in your filth. You can't be eating so far that you're backed up with 10 or 20 pounds of boom boom stuck in your colon and think God is going to dwell in this vessel. He won't. You have to keep it clean. You have to keep it as wholesome as possible. You have to stay away from evildoers. You had to understand that any enemy of God is an enemy of yours. Any enemy of God is an enemy of yours, is an enemy of mine, is an enemy of ours. Because we want God to look at all of our enemies and make them our footstool, right? So you got to make his enemies yours. This is a symbiotic relationship, brothers. We think because God is so powerful that he don't need that from us. Yes, he need our loyalty. He needs us to be dedicated to doing the things that he put us here to do. He needs us to be dedicated to preserving ourselves. Self-preservation is the number one law of the land, and going out swimming in the ocean without a life jacket or without nothing else on, bruh, that is not self-preservation. So the valuable lesson to be learned from this Malcolm Jamal Warner situation is to know that we must avoid situations and circumstances that can that quickly get out of our control. That's why we don't go to clubs and all of those places where people get intoxicated and inebriated, because we know how those situations can get volatile in a moment's notice, and then it's fully out of your control. Nothing is ever the only thing that's 100% in your control is what you do with your life. What you do every day. How you respect and honor the Most High every day. That's the only thing you can control. Well, when you go somewhere else and you can't control it, you can't console it. And I just want y'all to remember that. So I'm not going swimming in the ocean, because if a shark bites me, I ain't nothing I can do. I got teeth, but not like his. And he can bite in the water. I can't. I need to be breathing air above the water. I can't bite at the same time. I don't want to get stung by a box jellyfish. I don't want to get caught in a rip current. I don't want any fish with teeth in his mouth to bite me. I don't want to get some brain-eating amoeba. I don't want my belly to be so full of salt water that I can't live. I don't want any of these. I want to preserve myself. I don't want to be 300 pounds trying to figure out how I'm going to lose all this weight. 40, 50 years old, 300 pounds trying to figure out how I'm going to lose all this weight. I don't want to do that. I don't want to get to 62 years old, supposed to be retiring, and I got to keep working. I don't want to do that. I'm talking about keep working a job. I don't want to do that. At what point do we take ownership and responsibility for our actions and stop acting like things can't be avoided? How many times have you been somewhere, been driving your car, and knew you were too tired to drive, and you drove anyway? I ain't even talking about intoxicated. I'm talking about just too tired to drive, going to sleep behind the wheel. How many times have you done that? I don't care if you got to stop somewhere and get a cheap motel. Even if you ain't gonna do nothing but have somewhere that you can pull up in the parking lot, sleep in the car for a few hours. It don't really matter. At the point where you realize that the risk is greater than any possible reward, at that point you say, no, I'm not gonna do that thing. At the point where you realize the risk is unnecessary, it's uncalculated, it's unmitigated, it's unsituated. At that point, you say, no, I'm not going to do that thing. We've gotten to a point in the world where we don't prevent ourselves from making bad decisions. And it can cost you your life. The same way it did the good brother, Malcolm Jamal Warner, going out into the ocean, swimming in that. Bro, and I'm going to be honest with you, that water was so choppy, there's no way. I'm not swimming anywhere where the water is ever that choppy. Ever. I don't go in the ocean. I love the beach, but I don't go in those, bro. I don't even walk in the shallow. I don't let the seawater touch my feet, bro. I don't walk in the ocean. I like to look at it. I like to look at the coast. I like to look at the beach. I don't go on the beach. For what? The sand is hot. What I'm gonna do? Go on the beach, just walk on the beach? For what? You know how much sand get in your feet, man? No, I don't want that. I don't go on the beach, dog. I look at the beach. That's what I do. I pull up right at the beach and sit in that man with the top drop, man, just looking at the beach. Listen to an audio book while I'm looking at the beach, man, chilling. Or listen to some jazz, just looking at the beach, looking at the other people being in the ocean, enjoying themselves. I don't do it, bruh. You know what I'm saying? It ain't for me, dog. Listen, I don't knock anybody who does it. If that's what you want to do, fine. But I don't take unnecessary risk in life, bro. I don't want to. Herring, salute, man. Appreciate you. I just stay on my own lane, and God keep blessing me, man. Listen, that's the only lane you got, brother. That lane that you're in right there, it's the only lane you got. There ain't no more lanes for us to have. That's it. Herring got another one up here. Stay real, short but deep. Yeah, that's really what it is, man. We just have to make sure that we don't put ourselves in situations that don't benefit us long term. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of situations that benefit you short term, but not long term. And we got to remember, brothers, that the one thing that benefits you both short term and long term is putting God first in all you do. All you do. And so I ask myself before I do anything, what would God want me to do? Is God even cool with me doing this? You know what I mean? Does this make me look dumb to God? And the answer to that question will help you navigate the way you need to know how you need to wait. I agree 100%. You shouldn't even walk along the shoreline when the water is full of current. Here's what people don't understand. That current is strong. That current is strong. By the time you get up to about knee deep or thigh deep, man, that water is strong enough to knock you off your feet. Depending on where the current come in at, it's strong enough to knock you off your feet. People don't look at all of that water. Like, what makes you think all of that water doesn't have enough power, even in the shallow part of it? It's a bunch of water rushing in. And I tell you, man, it only takes a teaspoon of water to drown. You know what I'm saying? If you sleep, somebody pour a teaspoon of water down your nose, bro, you can drown a teaspoon of water, man. Let's keep it a buck. Aaron, appreciate you, man. To all the brothers here in the kingdom, let's move closer to God and keep earning God's blessing. Let's live righteous for God, man. Let's live righteous for God. Let's do that. I live righteous for God, not for you, not even for me. I live righteous for God because he told me do it. Most High said, hey, man, I want you to do this right here. I want you to do this. I call you for this. Here's what I want you to do. That's what I want you to do. You hear that call? That's God on line 2. It's for you. God is on line 2. It's for you. Got that audio book coming for King Ray Ray, man. Y'all be looking for it. I have it ready in the next couple of days. What's the day? Wednesday. We'll bring in the Sabbath day with that. We'll bring in the Sabbath day with God is on line 2. It's for you. First audio book from King Ray Ray is gonna be a good one, man. It's gonna be a good one. It's gonna tell a little bit of my personal journey too, man. I want y'all to understand that. I share my personal journey with you a little bit, and it'll undoubtedly be made into paperback. But I'll give y'all your first King Ray Ray audio book, man. It's going to be dope. Again, God is online too. It's for you. So listen, man, let's go ahead and get ready to slide on out of here. I appreciate y'all being in the joint, man. It's been super real. Salute to everybody, man, who supported, the people who stayed in, man, even when I went members only. You want to be a member of this live chat, go to the main channel page. Next to the subscribe button, you'll see a join button. Click that join button. Go into the membership kiosk, and it'll tell you what you need to do. And then come on back in, man, because this is the place to be whenever you see me. You understand me? So, all right, brothers, look, I appreciate y'all, man. Y'all put God first. Keep grinding and growing. And always knowing self-preservation is the #1 law of the land. And that is what makes you a godly woman or a godly man. Understanding spiritual astuteness is more important than physical cuteness. And that's real talk. Famo, salute. Peace.